Welcome in. Latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Mike Brett. Go by SEC Mike on Twitter. And there he is. There he is. Everybody's favorite Cuzzy Shane. How's it going, brother?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh, man, it's the best week of the year. It's rivalry week. You know what?
Hell yeah. This is the best one, Mike. This is the best week of college football. If they said, Mike, at the start of the season, you can only watch 1 week of college football, which week are you picking?
This week.
Yeah.
Come on. And I've already started to, we're highlighting a lot of players. I mean, man, these players, buddy. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But they are feeling the hatred this week. I'll just put it that way. You know what?
Yeah, they really are, Mike. And, hell, even I'm taking some shots. Vanderbilt, all three fans got together and decided to build a coalition against me, So, hey, whatever. Hey, it's rivalry week, and this is what we love, man. This is, we got Thanksgiving, we got the family. We love seeing family get a little stressed. And then you kind of step away, have some garage beers, watch some college football, Mike, and then kind of, I don't know, man. I think of my favorite memories growing up, and it kind of circles around these two holidays, Christmas and of course Thanksgiving. And when I think Thanksgiving, I think of football and watching it with the family. So yeah, I'm pumped up, brother. I'll tell you that right now. I've already trial run one of my sweet potato casseroles. I think it did fantastic. So I didn't really need to try it. I've been doing it for 30 years, but now I just got an extra batch laying around. But I've got everything ready for Thursday.
Wait, so you went ahead and made it already?
Well, it was a trial. It was a trial, So, and by
What
trial,
does that mean?
that just means I made it for myself. That's basically what that means. So, nailed it.
Please, God, you didn't put any cinnamon in it, did you?
No cinnamon.
Okay.
But wife got me the other day. Have you ever had Snickerdoodle? Snickerdoodle cookie?
I've heard of it.
It's like I really never like craved it or wanted to have it or whatever. So we go to Dollywood the other day, I think with everybody in Tennessee. And we're up there and we're watching some play or something like that. And it was about Snickerdoodle cookies. And my wife's like, hey, I'm going to make some Snickerdoodle cookies. And I was like, all right, sounds good. Apparently those do have cinnamon in it. A lot of cinnamon in it, Mike. So
Right, that's the main ingredient.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that going into it. I just thought maybe brown sugar or something like that, but that was definitely cinnamon. Had a little effect on that one, but brother, it was fantastic. So, I not my favorite cookie, so don't worry. I'm not gonna like go out and crave it, but it was definitely a one-time hit.
Well, you leave me speechless, but you know who doesn't?
Who's that?
MyBookie, come on. Presenting sponsor of the show. Head on over to mybookie.ag today. Sign up. The account's free. You can sign up for a free account, Shane. Here's the deal, though. You put in any kind of deposit over at MyBookie today with the promo code that SEC, THAT SEC. They will double your initial deposit today for rivalry weekend. You really hate your rival? Go over and put some money on it, y'all, over at MyBookie. You know what?
Absolutely. I think we all know who's going to win this weekend. And I'm feeling pretty damn confident about my picks already, Mike. And I think this is a good week for my bookie. I'm about to go 3-0, 3 in a row on these things. So, a lot of people are kind of reeling because they've been taking advantage of my agony. But now it's like, hey, Midas Touch has just entered the room,
Without giving it away. Mm-hmm. Do you already have your MyBookie lock of the week selected?
Absolutely. Yes, I do. It's going to catch a few of you off guard, but you're going to love it. I think I can convince you that this is a good move.
Hey, Cousin Anthony wants to know. I bet Shane makes a mean dressing. Do you?
This is funny. Not funny. Mamaw, she made kind of like a fancy version of stuffing growing up, or dressing, or whatever you want to call it. We call it stuffing down here. And I liked it, but she always got a little carried away with the onions, in my opinion. Big onions floating around this thing. So I went old school, like stovetop. I know it's like the poor man version of stuffing, but You cannot go wrong with it, man. It is something that we eat twice a year, and I love it. You put a couple little pieces of turkey in there, make that thing interesting. It can become its own meal. So, yes, shout out to Stovetop, not a sponsor of the show.
Foster says, give Cousin Shane a regular doodle cookie.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. How about this, buddy?
Yes, sir.
How about this? I mean, we got so much to talk about, but this game was not at the top of my list till we started seeing some of this back and forth brawling between these two. Shout out the Iron Bowl, Shade. How about it? Hugh Freeze, Kalen DeBoer, Alabama, 11-point favorites at home in this hated rivalry. Actually, it's up to 11.5, so it's shifted a little bit here. But, Shane.
Yes.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize the hatred between these players, at least. You know, sometimes you don't know. Young players, transfers, new coaching staffs. Is there any hate? Let's ask old DeMarcus Riddick here. Auburn defender. He shits on just about all of them.
From your study of Jalen Milroe, he's obviously a dual threat quarterback. How important is it to be able to contain him and not let him get the edge this Saturday?
It's going to be really important to this game. I would say, I mean, he is a good quarterback. He's fast, but, I mean, he's not faster than me. I'm pretty just that. Like, he will not get out that box this week, and that's something I'm going to have to work on all week this week at practice, and something that some of the guys are going to have to help me with.
Same thing goes along with Ryan Williams. Kind of what have you seen maybe from him, too? There'll also be another freshman.
Ryan Williams is Ryan Williams. I mean, yeah, he's electric. He's all this and that, but in my eyes, he ain't really nobody to me. Ryan Williams is himself. He ain't no big time player to me.
Oklahoma to take them on, seeming about a level of physicality, punch them in the mouth. What's your message to this group about bringing that physicality, accepting this challenge?
I would say seeing that game, well, the results after that game, it just kind of just like this team is really beatable, and I was just telling the team like, bro, y'all don't take this team as like this. They're like, you know, they're beatable. Like we still got something to fight for. You know what I'm saying? So going into this game, I'm just gonna be balls to the wall every time. Cause like I said, Bama is a big rival team. Every rival team I played, I never lost to, and I will not lose to Bama while I'm here.
Oh, baby. Come on now. Come on.
So that'll be his last opportunity to speak with the media probably for the foreseeable future. Unless Auburn whoops that ass, then he'll become a legend. You know what?
Absolutely. Instant legend. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to, I mean, you talk about a bookmarked video. This one is bookmarked, obviously. But, you know, he's saying some truth, man. He said beatable team. Well, they've lost 3 times, so they are a little bit beatable this year. And I'll tell you what, Auburn's in their feels right now, and I love it. This is what I love. I hate that we kind of attack these kids kind of for saying what they say, because they're just saying what we know they're saying behind the doors. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Even Kirby Smart, he'll come out and he'll talk about, it's not emotional. And then you'll listen to like the pregame speech. It's like, who are we fooling here? You know what I'm saying? I kind of like this, building it up, kind of like they do in UFC, boxing, just chirping the entire way. But somebody's got to have to answer for it this week.
All right. Oh, I'm not mad about it, Shane. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But we do have a response from old Jalen Milroe. How about that?
Auburn linebacker DeMarcus Riddick said that he could beat you in a race, or that he's just faster than you. Just anything to comment on that if you know about him?
I don't know what that is, but I mean, let him talk. I mean, it's a part of it, and it's all about just execute what we need to do so we can be our best us this weekend. But yeah, good on him.
Is that just
Good old him, Shane. Who the hell's that? I don't know, but good old him. You know what? I mean, goodness. As soon as I heard this, I was like, we're back. This is number one again. I don't care that Alabama just lost. I don't care that Auburn's had an awful year. We are back. We are back. We are back. This is has risen to my number one game this week. How can it not be? You know what?
Oh, brother. I ain't gonna lie. When I hear the word rivalry, this is the first one I think of. And I know we got some new Texas, Oklahoma love in here, and I love the Egg Bowl, and I love Clemson and South Carolina, and Florida State, Tennessee and Vanderbilt. All these wonderful rivalries that we're going to get to see this weekend. But when I hear the word college football rivalry, that's 3 words, I think of these 2 teams right here, Mike. And you're right, it's lost a little luster along the way, but it's ramping up real quick now.
Right, and buddy, I can't remember a double-digit underdog on the road that has been this confident going into one of these games. But why shouldn't they be? They can make a bowl game by winning this. They got a coach that's beaten this mighty program multiple times. Their quarterback's eating up. The other quarterback just coming off maybe his worst game ever. There's a lot of reasons to be confident. And buddy, you think it's bad now in old Tuscaloosa? Just wait till you lose this game. I think it'll be. I think they're going to be tight this week. I really do. Alabama, that is.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so for sure. This is good. This is what I want to see a fight. No, I don't want to see that. I probably shouldn't say that, but if it's a little extra pushing at the end of a play, let it be. The sideline maybe move a little bit, have some sideline warnings in this game. That's what I'm thinking. When I'm thinking rivalry, I'm thinking 2 teams that absolutely hate each other. Not just the fan base, but the players. Because sometimes these rivalries is bigger for the fans than it is the players. But I'm starting to feel a little bit of that, hey, this is important to us too.
Right. And shout out friend of the show, Pat Smith. He's actually going to be on tomorrow, Shane. Any idea? He did this. I saw it. I shared it online. But if Alabama loses this game, you know where they'll be in the SEC standings if they lose this one? Remember, this is preseason top 5.
Yeah.
Not in the SEC. In the country. Top 5. Alabama be number 10 in the SEC. If they drop this, I don't know. I don't know how you ever recover from that if you're Kalen DeBoer.
Hell, I don't know if you can. I saw the legend there on Firebomb. He kind of torched him a little bit, Fan of the show, legend, maybe listening today. But that's where they're at. The standards are not like other teams in this country. You know what I'm saying? This is. We knew it was going to be a tough act to follow, but 4 losses, I don't think anybody saw that one coming. So yeah, that would be, buddy. That would be some bad news right there.
But none at home. Just throwing that out there. But Shane, they have given up in their losses.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. I had it written down. I forgot to poured it over here. But in their losses, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. The common, aside from being road games, a common narrative to those games? They gave up around 600 rushing yards. And last time I checked, Jarquez Hunter, one of the best in the country. Peyton Thorne, say what you want about him. He can run too.
Yeah.
He has torched people with his legs. Buddy. Well, I don't even know if the defensive coordinator's coming back, regardless of this game. But how fast are they going to kick his ass to the curb if Auburn runs wild? Because if they run wild, I think they're winning this game.
Yeah. I still feel like there'll be a little bit of a scapegoat somewhere in that coaching staff. Like you said, it's probably that defensive coordinator. But yeah, you can't argue with weakness though, and when you show it, they're going to take advantage of it. And I feel like there's not a team built better to attack that than Jarquez Hunter right now, which I think is running the best, the hardest I've ever seen him run. Last week felt personal. And I feel like this is, they don't have they're not fighting for a playoff spot. They're not, but there's some dudes on that team right now that are fighting for a job next year in the NFL, and I feel like that's where Hunter is, and he has an opportunity to really make a name for himself. Not that he needs any more credentials, but if he single-handedly wins this game, I think that bodes well on draft day.
Okay. Well, how about this one, Shane? We got to move on. I could talk Iron Bowl for hours. It's not even the best damn game, Shane, this weekend, because we all know it's Texas at Texas A&M here, Shane. Aggies, underdog, at home. What? At night. Texas, 5.5-point favorite. Oh, buddy. It's been a while. It has been a while since we faced off here, and one of the reporters, I thought it was hilarious. They asked one of the players this week.
Yeah.
They were like, you were in middle school last time these two played. How much do you know about this series? I just kind of put it in perspective that, again, they're both going to want to win. SEC championship on the line. The winner goes to Atlanta. But is there anything to be said, Shane, for the fact that Texas, they're about to do another playoff reveal.
Yep.
I'll jump on and do that live when they do it, but it's not going to be till later. Texas is going to remain number 3.
Yeah.
I already have the rankings. I have the rankings ahead of time. They ain't going nowhere. Meanwhile, A&M's outside the bracket looking in.
Mm-hmm.
If A&M, they're fighting for their playoff lives.
Yeah.
If Texas loses, big if. But if they lose, they're still going to the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any advantage for A&M knowing that this is a playoff game now?
Yeah, I think so. Anything that you maybe have been holding back, not saying that you were, but maybe injuries, things like that. It's like if you got a guy, you're kind of shielding them from action because of injuries, because you want to. I mean, we're talking. This isn't the last game being played, Mike. If they do move on, we're talking SEC championship. We're talking multiple games past that postseason. But all that doesn't matter if you don't win this week. So I feel like your back's against the wall. You cannot afford to make a mistake. You got embarrassed last week. I think film study becomes a little bit more important. I think practice comes a little bit more important. It's like you have to be completely dialed in, not just because this is a heated rivalry, but because if you lose, you're done. You are completed,
Right. And any consideration, Shane? There's a lot of buzz. Shane.
Yeah.
Again, what I just say, Texas probably don't even need this. They want it. They want to go to the SEC championship. They want to win it and be a top 4 seed, top 2 seed, really. But don't need it. Don't have to have it. And quite frankly, I'd rather be the 5 seed than 1 through 4 personally. But any consideration to play an Arch? Your favorite quarterback in the SEC, apparently, moving forward and for all time. Because Quinn's kind of banged up. And again, do we want a healthy Quinn for the playoffs? Do we want to turn it over to Arch? I mean, I don't know. There's layers to this thing. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I think you want Quinn. I think that's
even if he's hurt.
No, not this week though. That's one. Let me answer. Let me talk about these layers, Mike. I think if you're talking college football playoffs, I want Quinn as my guy. Arch. Don't think I'm telling you. I love Arch, and I feel like his future's bright. Maybe brighter than most people think. But I feel like Quinn has been in that spotlight, has been in these playoffs. So that's a guy that's been there before, and you can't teach that. You can't coach that, expectations, So I feel like if Quinn's at 75% and you can afford to sit him, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you put Arch out here? Because if they win, that's even better. But if they lose, you and I both still think they're in, and there's no way they're going to keep Texas out, with and in fact, it may help them. They don't have to go to the SEC. They don't have to fight Georgia again. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I don't know, man. I'm not saying Sark's going to come out here playing chess while everybody's playing checkers, but if I'm looking at it, if Quinn isn't healthy, now if he's good enough to go, then he's my guy. We're rolling with him. But if there's any, because he's been pulled a couple of times this season, if you're feeling like, hey, putting him out there could hurt our stock in the playoffs, then I'm putting Arch in. Is that crazy? Is that I don't think
That's a little crazy. No.
There's not a lot of teams that have this type scenario out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. This luxury.
Yeah, the Texas, they just get everything, don't they? They got a free game here at the end of the year. They got 2 quarterbacks to choose from.
Let me ask you this though, Shane. I couldn't believe the comments yesterday, Shane, because I dare question Texas playing on the road. Hell, they beat the brakes off Michigan. Mm-hmm. Go check the tape. That was my lock of the week. We all knew that was coming. The only other night game, or they haven't even played a night game.
Yeah,
on the road, Vanderbilt and Arkansas, and all these Longhorns. Shane, I said, "My God, you fool! We haven't lost a home game in 2 years. I don't give a shit what you did last year in that junior league. In this year, again, Vanderbilt and Arkansas. Again, we're not sitting here trying to mock the schedule. We've done that for about 6 months. But point being, Shane, on a neutral field, Texas, Texas A&M, give me Texas 1,000 out of 1,000. This ain't a neutral field, brother. This is a night game, Kyle Field. How big of an effect? And this ain't just Texas, Shane. This is all of them. Georgia couldn't handle at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is one of the worst home field advantages in the conference. We have seen, Tennessee can't lose at home.
yeah.
Alabama's beating Georgia at home. On and on and on. All these teams, with the exception of Georgia going into Texas, none of them can win a big-time night game on the road. How much of an effect is the 12th man this weekend?
This is it. Like if you, I'm watching the ticket prices at this place. Unreal. I mean, you're gonna have to mortgage a home just to get there. You know what I'm saying? This is unreal. The amount of folks that want to come there because they're witnessing something special. You know, I think this is special not just because Texas is coming back, but you got a football squad that has an opportunity to win a national championship. And it's laughable because of the loss they had last week, but it's believable for the season we've had this year.
Right.
Nobody is safe. There's not one team that's in the playoffs, on the fringe of the playoffs, that I don't think can win the playoffs. I think all of them have that opportunity. If the stars align, I don't think there's one dominant team in the country that's just going to steamroll everybody, you know? It doesn't feel like there's the 2001 Miami rolling around. There's not you think of some of the Alabama teams in early Saban's career that you just knew that when these two teams met, you're going to get destroyed. Georgia a few years ago. I feel like this is the year that anybody can win it, but they have to win this week, Mike. This is a playoff. This is a playoff game, if you will. And if they win this one, they move on to SEC. They got to keep winning, but you have an opportunity to see something special. So yeah, right. I think they're excited. They know what's expected of them, and they are going to be rocking, brother. College Station is going. I mean, we may feel it from up here in East Tennessee.
And don't take Shane's word for it. Take Marcel Reed's word for it here.
Obviously, 11 games in, 8-3. You put everything to this moment here. What is the mindset of possibly you and then the rest of your teammates of like, okay, we got one shot for everything we've wanted and worked for here and this week?
Yeah, I think the mindset for me and the team is just that we're in the playoffs now. A lot of people are waiting until this, 12-man playoff bracket drops and all that stuff. We're in it now. I mean, it's really for us win or go home at this point. And we know that we got to win if we want to advance. So, it's win or go home.
And I've heard that from a couple of teams this season, Shane. Mm-hmm. We heard it from Ole Miss, and it carried the day against Georgia. But they must have forgot. They thought they were already in. We've heard it from Alabama when they went into LSU and just tore them a new one.
Yeah,
they forgot to carry that into Oklahoma. So, again, point being, we have seen this work. We have not seen this work week after week. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know, man. There's something to this. Backs against the wall. This is a playoff. We're at night. We're at home. Certainly, Texas can win this football game. Yeah. But I think they're going to have to play their best game of the season. And they're going to have to play mistake-free. Yeah. I mean, because I can't think of, short of Michigan, Florida, they whooped Florida's ass, but again, that was third string walk on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another one where Oklahoma, they were really good in the second quarter and they're on out. But beyond that, I'm not seeing one where they were like flawless or anything like that. And I think that's, quite frankly, I think that's what it's going to take to get a win on the road at Texas A&M.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, the crowd factor is huge. The only game Texas has had with a large crowd was up in Michigan, but that was an early game. I think that was big noon kickoff, you know. So they haven't been tailgating and drinking cold beer, and it's a different environment at night, and that's why you see some of these coaches bitching about not getting them, and then some of them complaining about having too many of them. And Texas hasn't had that. That means the players haven't had that. They haven't had any problems communicating at the line of scrimmage. But that changes this week. So yeah, I feel like there's like a whole bunch of different little narratives that are floating around, and you know, and we talk a lot about A&M, but you know, Texas has an opportunity to do something too here. They do something special and just close out the season and be the unanimous best team in the SEC coming into this SEC championship game, and a chance to redeem themselves against the Georgia Bulldogs. So, I mean, if you want to beat the best, you got to play the best. And I feel like this whole Texas can skip this game or whatever, I don't think that. I think that's kind of bullshit. I think you come out here, you beat Texas A&M, you go to the SEC championship, you redeem yourself in that championship game, and then you leave here the best team in this conference. So, yeah, I feel like Sark and company, you know, they've heard it. They ain't played nobody, and look at their records and blah, blah, blah. But they could come out here and shut everybody up if they quiet the noise there at Kyle Field.
And if they win the next two, Shane, at A&M in Atlanta against Georgia, do they win the whole damn thing?
I'm telling you, Mike, the national championship team will come from the SEC. I don't know which one it will be, but if Texas does just that, they beat A&M, and then they go there and beat Georgia, then how can you what other team is doing this? The defensive line, I feel like the trenches have gotten better. I feel like the running game has got new life. You know, got to keep our quarterback healthy. But, yeah, no, I think Texas has a great opportunity to go win the whole damn thing.
Yep. You know, you were talking about narratives, though.
Yeah.
How about this narrative? Cousin JR's the best. JR, donate again.
On.
What a guy. What a guy. This time, Dixie Piper Dixie. Welcome to the family. Thank you, JR, for that one. But also, you know what else is a great narrative? Tell them, Shane.
Teaching little kids how to play football. You know what I'm saying? New sponsor to the show, Mike. I want to give them a shout out because this one spoke to me, because especially if you have children and you find ways. I mean, wouldn't it be nice just to have the kid 5, 6, 7 years old sitting there on the couch with you watching a college football game? It rarely happens. Hell, it took mine 15 years to figure out how the sport was played. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But once they learn how it's played, they become a fan of the game, Mike. Well, there's something coming out this week. I've never heard anything like this. I did a double take when Mike sent this over, and I said, damn, where has this thing been, Mike? It's called Future Fan Sports, and what they do is they send you a kit. Now, this is perfect because we got shopping coming up. Don't got Black Friday around the corner, don't want to get too excited, but when we go shopping, you're getting everything ready for Christmas. This is a perfect Christmas gift, but it's not really for the kids. It's for you guys, because it teaches the kids how to play football. But what they do is they do it in a story manner. So they pair it with different games. Here's an example. They do this thing called beanbag toss. You get 4 tries. You earn 6 points. You see what I'm saying? There's these little hints along the way that quietly teach the kids how to play football or understand at least the rules of college football. And once they do that, Mike, they fall in love with the sport. They fall in love with the team that you're watching, and next thing you know, they're sitting with you. So if you're looking for something, a cool gift for the kids that's really for you, you got to check it out. But they got a special, and this is what they sent over for us, Mike. It's normally $49.99, but at futurefans.com, if you put the promo code THATSEC, that's THATSEC, before this weekend, you'll get 25% off the Black Friday pricing. So again, that's promo code THATSEC at futurefans.com. Fantastic. Just check it out.
The next generation of cousins. You know what?
Come on now. I mean, seriously, if you get your kids involved, they start falling in love with the sport. You know, I feel like sometimes we lose. We're losing it. We're talking about generation. We're talking about these kids with the Iron Bowl and all this stuff. You know, growing up, there was no doubt who were the rivalries, you know. And so introducing it to these young kids, you never know. They may fall in love with it, and they may start a podcast and drink cold beer, and they make your parents proud, you know. So check it out, Future Fans.
Just like old Dandy Dog Patterson down here, dog.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family. We appreciate you, brother. But all right. Speaking of rivalry, Shane. Oh my Lord, I'm seeing it in the comments. Well, thankfully, we only got one side. I don't want the other side in here. They're not welcome. But we are getting some wild buzz between South Carolina and Clemson, Shane. Two ranked opponents going head to head for the title of the best damn team from South Carolina, Shane. And quite frankly, winner. He's got an outstanding shot to make the college football playoff. The loser, talking to you, Clemson, is going to have a long-ass offseason because you ceded the state to Shade Beamer, and you ain't never making the college football playoff again. Meanwhile, Beamer and the boys down there, with all the talent they got, we may be starting a new tradition of the Gamecocks, Shane, dancing their way into the college football playoff. How about it?
Dude, I'm telling you what, wouldn't it be nice to see Dabo crying this weekend, blaming the refs, blaming some bullshit, you know, just crying. I would love nothing more than to see that, brother. And South Carolina has an opportunity to do it. They have an opportunity. You know, we're about to watch this college football playoff selection. And this is a team they don't want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? They would love nothing more than South Carolina to lose this weekend. So then they don't have to worry about talking to them. But, Mike, if they come out here and destroy Clemson, not beat them, I'm talking just do what you've been doing against your opponents for the last 6 weeks. You do that to Clemson, they cannot leave you out, in my opinion, Mike. I mean, they're building themselves a damn resume and a reason why you should have the Gamecocks in this playoff spot.
Right, and as Beamer says, this ain't gonna be the last ranked versus ranked fight for the playoff between these two programs.
Emotionally to play today. If they said you got to be up there, we'd hop on the bus and head up today and go play. So if it's one, making sure you keep what I've talked to our guys about, just, you know, keep your routine throughout the week as well, which is a little bit different this week because of the class situation. But keep your routine and just do what you have to do to prepare to go play your very best on Saturday. And the emotions are, you know, part of it. And it'll be an emotional game throughout, and there'll be electricity in the air, and it's awesome to be a part of. I mean, this is fun and exciting. Last year at this time, we were 5-6. Like, that was, I don't want to say pressure, but that wasn't fun. 5-6, and if you don't win, the season's over. That's a different level of mindset than what we have this week, where this is fun and exciting to be a part of. And to me, this is going to be a yearly occurrence. Like, we're not going anywhere. Our program, we're only continuing to ascend. And Dabo and Clemson have shown they're not going anywhere. And I think a battle of ranked Carolina versus ranked Clemson, that's going to, with playoff implications in my mind, is going to be a yearly occurrence around here. So everybody better get used to it. And that's what I've told our guys, is this is fun and this is exciting. But at the same time, once the game starts, it gets down to blocking and tackling and playing with great fundamentals. And that's what's going to win this game.
I mean, could you imagine, Shane? There's no better opponent than to be able to punch your ticket to the college football playoff than kicking Clemson, right, where the sun don't shine in their old damn house, blowing them out and getting in there. I mean, I literally can't think of a better way to do it.
Mike, when I think about this magical season, I think about how it started with Georgia beating the shit out of them and ending with South Carolina doing the same. I'm telling you what, they're going to move this game to like 10 o'clock in the morning next time they play because Clemson it's going to be so embarrassing. This has got to be a big physical game for them, and you could feel it. I can feel it in the fan base. I can feel it with the players. Shane Beamer, he can't hide his emotions. I love it. Not only is this a huge rivalry, but they know exactly, similar to Texas A&M, what is riding on this football game.
Any concern, though, that, again, pressure, playoff, rivalry, I mean, this was like a cauldron of hatred and passion and so much on the line. I mean, it's the team that that's kind of what he's talking about, with, keeping your discipline and things of that nature. I mean, I think that'll play a huge part in this football game. How about you?
I do. But I think what kind of is the equalizer is which team's more physical, and that's what I love about South Carolina and the way they're playing right now. They're winning with the trenches. They're winning with Rocket Sanders just steamrolling you. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like old school football. And yes, I get Sellers is having an awesome season, but he's also one of the biggest quarterbacks they've ever faced. So go out here, get physical with him. And I think that takes kind of the emotion out when you could just, what they call white knuckle it, where you just, them offensive line says, hey, we're coming right behind you. Make a way,
Right. Yeah, man. Whew. Can't wait for it. You know what?
Oh, shit. Yeah, me either, man. They should do this game separate. They should do it on a Tuesday. They should be playing tonight,
What about, I don't know how excited. I mean, you said it yourself. They're already coming after you, buddy. Tennessee at Vanderbilt here. Shane, Tennessee, a big favorite. 10.5. It's actually come down a little bit here. 10.5 point favorite on the road. Technically, it'll be a home game. Come on, we all know there'll be more Tennessee fans there than anything. But this is, quite frankly, this is the best Vanderbilt team I can remember. And there's a lot on the line for Tennessee. When things are on the line for Tennessee, doesn't always go so hot. But again, those are the past years, not this year. You know what I mean? So, You don't sound nervous at all about this one, huh?
Nah. I'm telling you what, I don't know if they can conceive. I don't know if it's one of those they can still bow out and just not show up for this thing. But I don't want to. My concern, Mike, is Pavia's future. I don't want him to look back at this game and say, what, this is the quarterback that everybody was talking about. So, yeah, I'm not worried about this one. You got Dylan Sampson getting snubbed from the Doak Walker Award. They're about to get a heavy dose. Vanderbilt hasn't seen a running game like this. They've not seen a defense like this. Maybe South Carolina, but we saw how that one turned out. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is paired well, and I get it. The Vols, they don't want to talk about it. Don't overlook it. The battered Vols syndrome's a thing, but ain't nobody worried about Vanderbilt.
Well, I'll give you one reason to be worried about, Shane.
Does that appeal to you? Is there something about a game like this that you...
What was that?
Does that appeal to you, a game like this?
Oh, yeah.
Something about this?
Yeah. I love rivalry games. Just the intensity that everyone brings, the attitude that everyone brings on both sides. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere, and I can't wait.
Does it add anything that they're in the playoff if they win, and if you guys beat them, they're not in?
Oh, yeah, we just got to approach it just like another game. But obviously, they're a good football team too. But, anytime you get a chance to knock someone out the playoffs, it's an awesome feeling too.
Buddy. Oh, buddy. You know who that's music to the ears of, aside from Vanderbilt fans?
Who's that?
South Carolina fans, Alabama fans, Ole Miss. They will be rooting like hell for Vanderbilt to do the unthinkable, kick Tennessee out.
Yeah.
But that's the task this week. You know what?
It is, and it's a tall glass of water. You know what I'm saying? Short of somebody selling the signals or something like that, we shouldn't have any problems with Vanderbilt. But, I don't want to get too cocky. I think that this is one of the best seasons Vanderbilt's put together in a long time, and a lot of it has to do with that man you just saw there at the podium. So, I mean, obviously he's the one that's going to have to win this thing. I don't think Vanderbilt's defense is going to win. I don't think Vanderbilt's running game is going to have it. It's just going to have to be the Pavia show, which we've seen him do before. And Coach Lee and company, they put them in a good spot. They know exactly how important this game is. I mean, hell, if anybody, Coach Lee, playing there understands what this rivalry means. But this is two teams that absolutely hate each other, and the chirping started, which is great. But Tennessee knows exactly what is at hand. You lose this game, you're out. The best thing for Tennessee is the fact that this is a team took LSU Death Valley to 7 points that beat Alabama at home, So Mizzou gave them everything they could, at the start of the season. I talked about this. You should have that film running constantly. You got to realize that this isn't Vanderbilt from last year or the year before. This is a team that if you let them stick around, they can win a football game.
Right, yeah. Seemingly every Vanderbilt game that they play, it's limited possessions.
Yep.
So any kind of mistakes, Nico interception, Dylan Sampson fumble, they're compounded in this football because you may only touch it 7-8 times. So a holding, Tennessee cannot overcome a holding this year.
Yeah.
Any kind of issues like that, you're playing with real fire down here in Nashville, let me tell you.
Fire chicken. Nashville hot chicken, as they say. Yeah. Do you like hot chicken?
It's a little overrated, but it's good.
I think it's overrated, and I'm saying that. I know probably a lot of people are like, "What the hell?" Cousin Shane don't like hot chicken. If it gets too hot, it's like, what are we doing? That's like my daughter. She likes some Takis or whatever. Have you ever tried those? It's like,
I know of them.
Oh my gosh, 2 of those. It's like you can't taste anything. I'm like, why are you enjoying these? You can taste nothing right now. So
that just by that statement, it sounds like you do not know the origins of hot chicken.
No idea.
All right, I'll teach you all a lesson here. So the story goes that this guy was running around on his wife.
Oh.
And he came home, and somehow she knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't tell him. And he said, "Make me some chicken, woman." And she said, "That's so bitch. That's so bitch. I'm going to make this the hottest damn chicken he ever tasted." That was her payback.
Yeah.
And he loved it. And he started Prince's Chicken. And that's the original. So apparently that's where that came from.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, not for the relationship. I hope that worked out, but at least maybe she got some money in the settlement,
Well, that's a story anyway. But hey, how about this story, Shane? We love this one. Hopefully we get a competitive one here on Friday. Mississippi State at Ole Miss, Shane. Again, Ole Miss. I was ready to write them off too. I mean, it's outside looking in, but they're still alive, brother, with all these upsets. Now they're going to need help. They're going to need teams like Tennessee to lose. Alabama losing would probably really help them. Notre Dame, on and on and on. They'll need some help. But it starts here. They're still alive here, even though they're barely hanging on. But meanwhile, Mississippi State, massive underdogs. Think about the disrespect of that, Shay. You're 24-point it's up to 26-point underdog in one of the best rivalries in all of damn sports here, the Egg Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Who's more motivated for this one? Ole Miss with their playoff hopes hanging by a thread, or Mississippi State, who's a damn near 4-touchdown underdog in this game. And keep in mind, Jeff Lebby, Lane Kiffin, they used to work together.
Yeah.
They are not on the friendliest of terms. I mean, there's a lot of bad blood in this one.
Yeah, I worry about the headspace that Ole Miss is in right now. I don't know if you have any Coach Kiffin comments, but there was.
I got it.
Okay, there was just something going on where it was more focused on the season, not the season over, but like it just felt like they lost already. You know what I'm saying? And that they're not going to make it in, and But I feel like you got to still present it as, hey, we have an opportunity, but we got to come out here and just finish the task at hand, because Mississippi State, even though you look at their record and you're saying there's no reason that this should be a football game, I think there is a football game now because Mississippi State hasn't had an SEC win. And, you and Steven were talking the other day about how important this game is for State. And I felt like if they win this game, if Mississippi State wins this Egg Bowl, I think it erases every SEC loss that they've had this year, Mike. That's how important it is to them. So if I'm picking a team that it means more for, Mississippi State this is their game. This is their championship right here, Mike. The ultimate nail in the coffin, if you will. And yes, I feel like this game, man, one of my favorite games, will be extremely relevant moving forward if that happens.
Right, and if Kiffin's facing any heat, not saying he's going to get fired or anything, but the anger among that fan base,
yeah,
it's probably at like a 1 or a 2.
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit higher, but he goes to 10 in our damn heartbeat if you lose this damn game. You know what?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. You've lost to teams you shouldn't have. Kentucky, Florida, Mississippi State, maybe.
And he's getting asked questions like Shane said, you see these Bentley, where the hell's this guy at? We're running our defensive tackle. One of these players that, we've had Neil McCready on. I mean, he put it so interesting. I never thought about it, Shane, but these fans that donate to the NIL, they're essentially paying the salary of this guy.
Yeah.
And they're not using them. We're in a weird space where it's like, well, don't the fans have the right to know? Normally, maybe not, but if they're paying his damn salary and you ain't using them and we're losing football games, explain yourself. Well, they didn't do a good job here.
Blaine, I asked you about Bentley yesterday, but I'm an idiot and didn't follow up. So if it's not an off-the-field thing or personal, what's like the football rationale for a guy who, when he did get his extended run, has the longest run of the year for y'all, 50 yards, and has he regressed? Is it a scouting and development issue? Like, what has kept him from being a guy coming into the year was the SEC's highest graded returning running back? What's held him back?
Well, you keep saying, you said this yesterday, this highest graded returning running back. So, I don't know what that really means. So like I said, he's handled it really well. If you want to get into highest graded and all that, look at average per carry this year. So, nothing saying he won't have a great game this week.
Right. I'm just simply asking. When it's a running back needy team, what has kept him? He's healthy enough to return kicks. That's the biggest question we're getting out there from everybody else. Like, what's kept him from getting carries, if you will?
Well, I never said it was a health thing. So it's hard. You got to make hard decisions when you're a head coach, and you can't please everybody. So is what it is. But you want to get into stats and percentages and stuff. We'll look at average per carry this year of all the running backs.
Looking at the tape.
Okay, then. I mean, I looked it up. Shade, he is like third among the running backs, but I think the top 2 are injured. So that doesn't even make sense what he's saying there. You know what?
Yeah, and it felt like, he doesn't like him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We talk about coaches speaking their mind, and I think it changes a little bit when you start paying these kids. Like, you could come out and say, well, if he's not doing his job, we're not going to put him in there. And I felt like that's kind of what it is. So I don't know if that's a practice situation. I don't know if that's just production on the field. It sounds like that's the case because he keeps bringing it up. But then again, it may be coaching. Maybe he's not doing his exact assignments or something. So, yeah, I don't know in depth, but it is alarming because halfway through this game, I thought about him, and I was thinking to myself, is he hurt? Why do we have Pegues out here, when we have running backs on this roster?
That's $1 million question down there, Shane, and nobody has an answer, apparently.
Well, I mean, when you start losing little shit like that, like nobody would be asking that question now if they were 11-1, or
right.
11 wins. They're asking it because you just missed the playoffs. You just missed this Cinderella season that you promised us. I mean, after that Georgia game, was there any doubt that Ole Miss was going to not get to the college football playoffs? And now it's this seesaw that we're on, and a lot of that that inconsistency isn't just players. It's coaching. There's something going on in that locker room that is creating this situation, Mike.
the way they beat Georgia, they displayed that they were capable of winning a national championship, I thought.
Yeah.
And they're not even going to make a damn playoff probably.
Well, that's what worries me about Mississippi State. This is you think about the Kentucky game, you think about the Florida game. I feel like Ole Miss just thought they were going to win. Just show up, we'll win. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't. And I feel like if there was any game they may not show up for, it's this week, this Friday in the Egg Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of show up, new rivalry. I don't know if it's a rivalry.
South's shortest rivalry.
Wait, not that one. This one. But apparently there's a lot of hatred between Oklahoma and LSU, Shane. On my trips to Norman, they informed me, yes, they've only played 3 times. But was college football playoff in 2019. Joe Burrow scored about 60 points and a half. Mm-hmm. And the other was a national championship game where they were all too eager to let me know what a bunch of scumbag jerks them LSU fans are. So the Oklahoma fans, they hate these Tigers here. This will be the first time as SEC foes. This is an interesting game here, Shane, because again, LSU bounced back, had a nice win over Vanderbilt. No one gives a shit. Yeah. They're booing your quarterback. They were booing your head coach at home, at night. Never seen that in LSU that I can recall. Yet Oklahoma, they completely saved the season. Mm-hmm. And this would just be the cherry on top. No pressure in this one. I mean, hell, you get blown out. I think people will still be like, yeah, how about that Alabama game, though? You know what I mean? Like, no one cares. And I do think this will be a tight game. And, what's LSU struggle at? Stopping a damn running quarterback.
Yep.
All of a sudden, Jackson Arnold, he's Jalen Milroe 2.0 out there. You know what I mean? So this is a tough spot, I feel like, for LSU. It's a lose-lose situation. But, man, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Mike, I was just thinking about that 1950 matchup when they lost 35-0. I said, one of these days, these guys are going to absolutely hate each other. So, yes, another forced rivalry, whatever. But, Mike, how it becomes a rivalry is pulling off upsets, is blowing somebody out, is embarrassing somebody. There are different things that can happen in this game. Now, I feel like if LSU were to just quote unquote do another 35-0 beating, I think that would make it more intriguing next year when Oklahoma gets some more pieces to make this team more complete. But then vice versa, if Oklahoma does what they did to Bama and punches them in the mouth, punches their ticket to a bowl game, then all of a sudden it's like, damn, the fires really heat up because of this. So I don't know. I go round and round this one. It's tough to kind of make this a rivalry, but by 5 years, we always do these little windows of 5 years. Yeah. 5-6 years from now, we're not going to think back about the origin story. We're just going to think about the last 5 years, how tough these football games have been. And you think about how storied Oklahoma and LSU have been. Mike, this may not be our leadoff for this year, but 3 years from now, 4 years from now, this may be the first game we're talking about.
Right, especially if the underdog pulls an upset. That's how you make these rivalries. You know what?
Absolutely.
And much like Kiffin, looking ahead to the SEC championship, all these come back to bite him. Brian Kelly. This is two put together. But this is interesting, Shane. I mean, he's already eyeing the offseason. I can't believe he went there. It's not a bad strategy.
Yeah.
They just lost a 5-star quarterback. Everyone's saying, well, God, Michigan giving them 10, 15 minutes, whatever they gave him. I don't know. But that's clearly who they're talking about here and how LSU is going to shift their strategies.
Now, obviously, you can't talk about recruits by name, but y'all have taken a quarterback in each of the last 2 classes. Now that you don't have one committed, just kind of what's your plan at that position over the next few cycles maybe to build on that spot?
Yeah, I think we'll always look at taking a quarterback each year, and we'll most likely take a quarterback again this year. We look at the calendar year a little bit differently than just, December. We have a February signing period. We have a transfer portal. So we'll continue to look at that and see how that best fits our roster. But I can tell you this, that the overall roster is much more important than one particular position. As much as we want to take a quarterback at this position, I think what's more important is the overall health of the roster. And so if it ends up being that we do take a quarterback, that's great. But I think our eye is on the strength of the entire roster.
Ryan, following up on Wilson's question, there was some comments from the announcers during the game that you said maybe the recruiting realities in the wake of the decommitment might allow you to free up some money and be more aggressive in the portal. I know you've talked about you want to build a program through high school, but is this year where maybe you try to take the situation and work it to your advantage?
We'll be very aggressive. I think everybody that's followed us knows that we weren't very aggressive in the transfer portal. We put together a defensive line using minimal resources. We've really put ourselves in a position, and I'll use this term loosely, to stay well under the cap, so we could be quite aggressive this year, and we will be very aggressive in that area, as well as bringing in 16 mid-years. We're going to have 16 mid-years. We think that the program, in terms of the culture and the standards, are such that we can do that now, where we can bring in 16 freshmen and maybe one of, if not the largest, transfer portal classes as well.
This was the plan all along. No, I thought they were sucking just a suck, and now it's like, oh no, they were doing this on purpose, tank the season for Tua. It's like,
and this is the same damn guy, Shane. Last offseason, I've ripped him a new one. We ain't paying players to come to LSU.
Yep.
That'll ruffle our locker room. We got great players on this team. No one's making that. We can't have it. We don't need run stuff and defensive tackles. Can't stop a damn run to save their life. You know what I mean? Had they done it before, maybe they're not in this situation. But credit him. At least they're kind of seeing the mistakes there. But hell, I'd rather have an elite quarterback than a bunch of portal guys. But again, what's going to help you more next season? Probably the portal guys. So he's in a tough spot because he's got to win or his ass going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting, isn't it, that he's already eyeing the offseason and he's already pitching it. We're going to be so much better next year. Hell, buddy, the season ain't even over yet.
No, it's not. But again, it's like in the back of your mind, you're like, well, how successful? I mean, it's one thing to say you're going to be aggressive. It's another to say they're going to commit to you, because that's been the problem here lately is the guys going elsewhere. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to be aggressive and get the roster that we need to be a national championship contender, but that's easier said than done, especially when you're kind of the butt of the joke of the SEC right now.
Right. And then last thing on this one, man, how big of a turnaround would it be if the Sooners, I mean, they were dead in the damn water, Shane.
Yeah.
Probably should have beat Missouri. I mean, that was just a wild game, but whatever you want to make of it, dead in the water, not going to go to a bowl game. Then they have one of the best wins in recent history at home. And if they can cap it by beating LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And hell, they had a good showing against Ole Miss there for a while too. They were just outmanned, but that completely changed the narrative. Again, 7-5, that's not a great year by Oklahoma standards. I get it, but if you could do that, I think I'm pretty optimistic about what the Sooners could be next year.
Yes, I am. I just, that defense was special, and that's my only concern. Is you can't just replace. You can't say, "Hey, we're going to be just as good next year." I feel like you've got an opportunity. I love the one thing you could say is I think Venables is the defensive genius. I think he is. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. But what he was able to do with this defense has been truly special. Now, he's whiffed on the coordinators on the offensive side of the ball, but I feel like Oklahoma's could be special, brother. If you could keep this continued success on that side of the ball, and you find a little spark on the offense. I mean, that you talk about a recipe for a good team, an SEC team. That's it right there, brother.
Right. All right. How about this one? Shane is dubbed the shortest rivalry in the SEC. Oh, wait. Dang it. I messed this up. All right. Here we go. It's Arkansas at Missouri, Shane.
Yep.
Boy, oh, boy. I think this game, the coaches love it. The players love it. The fans hate it. I don't get it. But, again, this is, man, a wild one. It almost always comes down to the wire here.
Mm-hmm.
It's been owned by Missouri. But, man, who wants this one more this year? You know, is Missouri, are they going to want it? Or is it Arkansas that needs it to get to 7?
Mm-hmm.
It's Mizzou could get to 9. I mean, this is always a difficult game to put my finger on. What's your thoughts? Since you're the mayor of Columbia up there.
Well, I think last week was the tell for me that Mizzou has still got a lot of fight in them.
Yeah.
You know, I did expect a little bit of a letdown, a little foot off the gas type situation with State here, but man, they wanted to do something special. They want to end the season special. You know, there's some special kids that play for Mizzou that most likely will not be returning, you know, and they have an opportunity to close out with a big, big victory here. Nothing. I mean, these two, every time I told Drink in our first interview, Mike, every time that he posts something, you'd see 3 Arkansas fans say something.
Right.
You know, when I saw, I think Sam deleted his Twitter account twice, mainly because of these Mizzou fans getting on him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it may not have been a rivalry 20, 30 years ago, but by God, it is one now. And these guys absolutely hate each other. And that's why I love this game so much, is because that's important, man. That's important. When I think it's not just showing up and playing and taking the pictures, kissing the babies, and moving on. No, this is teams that hate each other. I've never seen so much hatred. I'm on these groups on Twitter, you know, and I just see them, man. Just anything they can do to rip another fan base. It's always these two going back and forth. So that's why I love this game.
Right. And again, this is an opportunity to amplify it, right? Because it's at Missouri. It's Brady Cook last game. They've announced too Luther Burden. He's going to go through senior day.
Yep.
So he's not coming back. So again, this is one where this would be a hell of a cap to Missouri for the season and for a lot of these players to go out on the right note, and for Arkansas to come in there and beat them. That's how you get that hate fuel going strong.
Yeah.
You know what?
Absolutely. And then you got all off season to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You got all off season to remind the other fan base who won this game.
Breezy says, as much hate as Shane running that marathon.
Damn. Boy, my fingers were crossed on that one, brother. I ain't run. I mean, you know, but I get what he's saying.
And apparently it's
briskly walking.
They keep saying it's going to snow up there too. So this is going to be a classic snow type game, perhaps.
That's going to be awesome. We're watching these, we're about to watch a playoff reveal. And, you know, that's one of the things that I keep hearing from them northern folks is, well, they ain't ever played in snow, you know? It's like, oh, man, I would love nothing more to see a college football playoff game played in snow. So we're going to get a little dose of it this weekend, hopefully, with these guys. James, he's got his hands full with the weather report, because that's usually when the weatherman is wrong, is when there's snow prediction, you know?
Well, you know where there ain't going to be no snow, Shane?
Where's that?
Georgia, with Georgia Tech coming to down, cross town, really, over here. Georgia, big favorite, as they should be, as they always are in this damn game. Georgia, 18-point favorites. This is a Friday game. But, man, this is the best Georgia Tech I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Since, I don't know, what was his name? Bobby Johnson, I think, was the old coach down there. But still, again, this is an interesting spot, Shane, because we got Atlanta locked up. We got playoffs in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
This would mean a lot. And Georgia Tech, they were the ones that started the decay of Florida State. They're the only team that's beaten Miami. I mean, this is a spot that they're no stranger to, coming in here, and the coach is on record, Shane. He says there's nothing I hate more than these damn Georgia Bulldogs. So that filters down to the players, and I think this is another one where for Georgia Tech it means more than I don't know that it means more, but Georgia's just got so many rivals already in the SEC, like Florida and now Alabama and Tennessee. I think for Georgia Tech, this is one that kind of means a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, man. I think it's not just bragging rights, but like you said, Georgia Tech's been halfway decent. I mean, unlike the times these two teams have played in the past, you got a team that almost ruined Miami's playoff shots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They at least made you question if they're as good as we thought they are. And I feel like if Georgia Tech beats Georgia, that's. I mean, how does the playoffs look at that? I mean, they almost have to win the SEC championship. So, there's a lot going on here. But the main thing is, Mike, this is an old school rivalry, and the fact Coach is out here saying that. Did you see Kirby get asked this in the presser?
Oh yeah, let's play it. Let's play it. Kirby, he ain't falling into the Lane Kiffin trap. We ain't go be wanting to play in that damn game.
You had some recruiting Saturday night to finish up, but I'm curious your thoughts as the SEC upsets finished up and you guys get awarded a chance to play in the SEC championship game, and your thoughts on playing in the championship game.
My thoughts are on Georgia Tech. I mean, it's a great honor to be able to play in the SEC championship game. It is probably one of the greatest events in all sports because the games that you play in are great matchups. But at this point in time, we don't even know who that is, nor do I care. My concern, 100%, is with Georgia Tech because of what that game means to so many in this state, so many on our team, and what it means to this season and this seniors playing at home. So that's the focus.
You see, Shane, that's the difference between a great coach and Lane Kiffin. You know what?
Yeah, absolutely. They said Georgia's the reason Tech left the SEC. I don't know if that's true or not, but I always talk about like back in Dooley days. If you watch some of these old videos, there's a Dooley interview that I always bring it up like once a year, but it's a fantastic one if you find it online. And he talks about this rivalry and the relationship he had with Georgia Tech and stuff like that. To really appreciate these rivalry games, you kind of understand the history. So if you can find it, awesome video.
Right, and you know who I appreciate, Shane? Truffle Shuffle. Come on, Truffle.
Now.
Truffle, welcome to the family. And shout out to, this guy. This is a wild man, Brodo Baggins. I see him on all the T-Bop videos, too. Named my toilet Georgia Tech, so every time I eat Chinese or Mexican, I wreck Tech. Sick 'em dogs. What a comment. What a comment. You know what?
I love it, man. I love it, brother. It's going to be awesome. I mean, just more and more. It's like you forget. Like, I know we got another one we're going to talk about here in a minute, but it's like you forget about this game, And then all of a sudden, you don't want this to be a talking point. I feel like Georgia, you just want to go out here and do your job like you've always done against these boys.
Yeah.
But there's an opportunity that we're in the fourth quarter fighting, and it just depends if Georgia from last week shows up this week, or if Georgia from which one. It's been a roller coaster for them. So I think this is an intriguing game that maybe a lot of people are talking. We got it on the tail end, but could be talking about during this ball game.
Right, and it's just so important, Shane, because you got to be. I mean, Georgia's almost a lock to make the playoff, unless they lose this one, they lose the SEC championship. Probably not, but again, I don't see that happening. But you got to get things solved.
Yeah,
because again, hell, it was only 2 weeks ago you got your ass kicked.
Right.
Again, that was at Ole Miss, tough place, kind of tough place to play, but a really good team. You're going to be facing really good teams in the playoff. So your deficiencies, these are the games you got to get that shit resolved so that you can go on to win in the playoff.
Right.
And not just win a game, win the whole damn thing. You're capable of winning the whole damn thing.
Exactly. It's the stupid mistakes that get amplified when you're playing good teams,
Right. And speaking of stupid mistakes, Shane, that's what Louisville does when they play Kentucky. Come on, Shane. Kentucky owns their ass here. And it doesn't matter, if Louisville's ranked, if Kentucky's unranked. They've won 5 in a row, and they have just been dominating this series. Hell, last year Louisville, I think, was a one-loss team. They were looking to go to the playoff themselves, perhaps, and it was Kentucky that got their best win of the season on the road. Now they come back home. They're starting the freshman Cutter Boyle. He looked fantastic, I thought, for a true freshman, playing against an elite defense at Texas. Now he's getting his first career start in a rivalry showdown. He's a Lexington kid, Shade. You know he hates these damn birds up here in Louisville. But, man, this is a real opportunity. And again, Stoops, he's things are trending poorly. I get it. But the 2 things he had in his back pocket, Shane, he whips Florida every year. Scratch that. The other one, he whips Louisville every year. Here's Stoops on the importance of this one.
Mark, your players really get up for the Louisville game. I mean, going back to year 2, when stuff's going on. What about this rivalry? How come, no matter, pretty much regardless of circumstance, you're able to get them ready to play?
Yeah, I think it's been important. I think you heard me say that the first time we played them, and we hadn't done very much, and they were top 5, top 10 team at the time, and I never shied away from the importance of this game. Told you that day 1, game 1, and I'll say it again this year. It doesn't really matter what the records are or anything like that. I have a lot of respect for Jeff and the way he coaches and their program. But it's important. It's important to our fan base. It's important to our players. It's important to me that we go play well.
They better. They better, Shane. I'll tell you. God. Wait, because what will he have to hang his hat on if they don't? You know what?
Nothing. Mercer, I mean, that big game against Ohio.
Well, they did beat Ole Miss. That'll be what they claim. Their claim of they may hang a banner. They knocked Ole Miss out of the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, if Ole Miss went to a playoff, it's now that's kind of they're probably like slowly pulling that banner back down, and folding it up. I get again. This is just about the state of Kentucky here, and when you're up there, you're on one or the other team. It's as simple as that. And I'll never forget. I was at we went to Louisville once and went up to stayed at the Galt House. Never know if you've heard of that. Fantastic place. Walked around. Went up to a Louisville Slugger. Went over to the Yum Center and I came out and I was talking to a guy, about the games and stuff like that. And I said, have you ever been in here? He goes, hell no. He goes, I hate Louisville. And I was like, but you live here? And he goes, yeah, well, it doesn't mean I have to like it. It's just these guys just hate each other, but they're neighbors. These are folks that go to church together, that grew up together. It's like you chose a team, and it means a lot. It means a lot more for these guys than what I'm saying, outside some of these other maybe like decisions for playoffs and all that stuff doesn't matter. This is just talking points all off season.
Everybody in that state gets bragging rights for a full year based on Saturday. You know what?
That's right. There'll be a Twitter handle that comes out saying we haven't lost to Kentucky in this days, and it's one of those that you'll see that, and they'll run it for 365 days.
Cousin Patrick says, Cousin Shane saying the Yum Center.
That's what I call the kitchen, You know
what? Speaking of Stoops, today's a special date, Shane. 1 year anniversary. You know what of?
Oh, no.
Him accepting the Texas A&M job.
Oh, damn. Brother.
How things can change in a year. You know what?
Would they be going for SEC championship if he was down there?
Hell no. What was your favorite memory of the Mark Stoops Texas A&M era?
Billy's meltdown there at TexAg, just blowing up. So
yeah,
no, I mean, I love the drama because that's who we are. But it was that was a wild one. I saw another one floating around that was Schiano got hired to Tennessee. That was another one where they revolted and rioted down here in Knoxville.
Yeah, I did a whole emergency show. Still up. I never deleted it. Go check it out. I just said this is the worst decision A&M will ever make. And then I woke up and they reversed course. Thank God. All right, last one here, Shade. Florida at Florida State. How about that, man? When I did this graphic, I said, boy, I didn't know you can have that much purple on one side of the matchup. But Florida State really is that bad this season. This is would be quite the way to throw an exclamation point for them Florida Gators, winning 3 straight to punch. Well, they've already punched their ticket to the postseason, but I mean, they have an opportunity now to win 4 in a row. They're red hot on the recruiting trail. They have not beaten Florida State since 2021, so a little streak here, but a real opportunity to go into your rival's house and just absolutely demolish them. This could be quite the game here for Florida Gators that are red hot right now.
And it's so wild, Mike. I mean, again, windows. And I saw a video. I don't remember who Billy was talking to, but it like if you froze it, it had 6-5 record, and they were just laughing, about something. And I'm like, if we skip this entire season, we went to 6-5, and they are just basically patting Billy on the back, telling him how great he is and how great Florida's doing, you'd be like, what the hell happened? Where did they get these 6 wins? And I think that's the important thing here, Mike, is the last 2 weeks against top 25 teams, they are on a heater. And, I think there are scenarios that you could have Florida 6-5 and they are revolting. They still want Billy fired. They don't want to move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe their recruiting's not doing hot, but there are scenarios where 6-5 looks really good. And this is just kind of the standards where they're at in Gainesville, which is kind of crazy to me, but you lift those standards by winning big games and recruiting the shit out of on the offseason. And I feel like that's 2 things that they're doing well, and development, because the team is looking better toward the end of the season.
Right. Yeah. The only fear is
oh my gosh, don't say it.
If they flip it, if Florida State, it's hilarious, Shane. They're a 2-touchdown underdog at home to their main rival.
Jeez.
If Florida State, Steven said, I don't know if you caught that part, Shane, but he said, the strength of this team, though, you've got to watch out. Really good kicker, really good punter. So they may have the edge here. I mean, Florida's got a good kicker and punter too, but special teams could lead the way here.
Oh, that's embarrassing, isn't it? That this comes down to that. No, I feel like the momentum, you got to capitalize. Billy's not a hot take type guy, but I think in the locker room, you've got to just keep going, man. There's so much optimism now floating around that program. You don't want that win to come out of the sail. You know what I'm saying? If you keep doing it, then it makes it easier in the offseason to not be negatively recruited or, have kids pulled away, which you're going to have. I mean, Flipmas is right around the corner. And I saw an article where they're talking about one of the teams that are going to be most aggressive in the offseason with the transfer portal is the Florida Gators. And you have an infrastructure to build off of, but you lose that. If you lose to a it's like Florida State is not just a average Florida State team or a good Florida State team. This is epically the worst Florida State team probably ever in our lifetimes we'll ever see. 2-9, I mean, they're in a fight with Charleston Southern or something. I mean, it's just garbage. But if you lose to this one, it's almost like losing to Georgia State. It's that bad right now.
Could you imagine a scenario where, let's say Florida gets red hot, they win the national championship next year, and they say, what was the turning point? Well, we decided not to fire the coach, and we bought us a roster. I mean, that's where their sports at. It's wild times right now. You know what?
It really is, man. But teams like this, they benefit because if you have a core of really good talent, and because it takes both recruiting, it takes recruiting through the high school and the transfer portal. Yep. I think it's a good mixture, and our building the way that Billy has done down there in the swamp bodes well when you can hit the portal and just instead of mass shopping like some of these teams do. They're just single, like, hey, you would be very good. This is exactly your role if you come down here. It's almost like you're like a surgeon and you're going in for 4 or 5 things that can make your team a real contender. And I think they're in a good spot for that, brother.
Hey, we got a bunch of supers to catch up on here, Shane. Glenn, appreciate you, brother. He gave us $10 here. Always enjoy the show. Happy for my Oklahoma football team, especially for the seniors on defense. Boomer Sooner. Appreciate you, Glenn. What a win. I'd still be on cloud 9 after one like that. You know what,
brother? I mean, I've liked so many Oklahoma videos. It's ridiculous. I saw one Toby Keith playing. Rest in peace. You know, I was like, man, this is awesome.
That guy's a legend. There's a lot of stuff down there in Oklahoma City and Norman dedicated to him.
That's my go-to. If we ever do bar karaoke, I'm going to pull out some Toby Keith for sure.
All right, shout out to Russell. He gave us $10, Shane. Shane, please don't lock the Gamecocks. I know you've been on a roll, but damn, feels like bad energy.
Oh, buddy. It's hard not to. It's hard not to.
And then Cousin Alex gave us $5. He said, South Carolina does like one vol. Cousin Shade. So there's another one. You got to not lock them up for Alex and Russell. Jordan gave us $2. Appreciate you, brother. LSU 20, Oklahoma 16. I like that little pigeon there too. That's creative. Be creepy. People at Clemson shouldn't be mad whenever they lose to the real USC at home, where they can stay and watch a Carolina team play in the national championship. Love to see it. Love to see it. Vandy,
you know that? I'm sorry. That Notre Dame game's interesting with USC.
Yeah.
Josh Pate put something out earlier saying something like there's 6 teams that have had the lead in every fourth quarter, every fourth quarter, but USC's lost 4 of them. You know, it's like everybody else is like three losses combined, and they've lost 4 or something. So it is a team that plays well, just doesn't finishes. But I mean, Notre Dame getting knocked off would be the best thing that could happen for the SEC.
Any idea? I can pull it up here, but any idea where that game's played? Oh, it's at Southern Cal.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. Not that they've got really home field advantage, but
over under 20,000 fans at that one, you know.
Always take the under when it comes to them. How about Vandy Dandy? Tennessee fans will want a new $8 million quarterback after this Saturday. How about that one? Cousin Carl, he disagrees. Vols by 50.
Come on, cuz.
He's right there with Cousin Shane. Cousin Todd, appreciate you, brother. Happy Thanksgiving to all the cousins. Appreciate you, Todd.
Thank you, cuz.
Hog Wild. If Mizzou. Woo pig. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Mountain Dog. How does South Carolina make it losing to Bama and Ole Miss? Well, I mean, that is the conundrum.
Mm-hmm.
But Bama just got dog whipped by Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Ole Miss just lost to. I mean, again, I get it. Head to head. Or the hottest team. I go with the hottest team, Shane. Particularly when I really think South Carolina's only got 2 losses.
Yeah.
They got cheated out of 1. So if they're going to cheat them out of a win, I can cheat them into the playoff. How about that?
Absolutely. And I feel like that's where this committee's at, is what have you done lately? You know, I don't think they're getting a lot of respect to them early losses or wins.
Right. And then Mizzou Blues, appreciate your brother. He says, thank God for Shane. Mike always doubting Mizzou.
Why you hate Mizzou, Mike?
Same thing as Cousin Andrew. We're eating hog for Thanksgiving again this year. M-I-Z. Ooh, buddy. They're getting me going here. But, I think this basketball game just ended. We sticking around for the playoff reveal here?
Hell yeah. I ain't got nothing else to do. Clean. Get ready for shopping Friday? No, sirree. I can only take the dogs out so many times, Mike, before she's on to me, you know?
All right, yeah, I think they're literally doing it right now.
Yeah,
this is perfect. We've got old Reese over here with his giant flag.
Oh, you're ahead of me, man. What kind of, are you on YouTube TV? Is that what you use?
Yes, sir. We got good internet up here, I guess.
Nashville gets everything, you know?
Do you see him yet? Surely you're not that far behind, are you?
No, I see Alabama, Ole Miss,
Okay.
Indiana, Notre Dame. They
You're
just added Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to like what they show you next, brother. Right up our alley.
Oh.
I love how they make us wait and then they draw it out even longer. You know what?
Right. Just get to it. Tell me if they start revealing on your side there.
Okay. Vandy Dandy says, is Shane's TV on the ceiling?
Yeah, I know. I got to adjust it. Well, I got it in here, and I didn't think anything of it at the time, but then I was like, damn, that is kind of high, you know?
Hey, we got a tip for you here, Shane. Tip for Cousin Shane, Knob Creek Rye. Have you ever had that?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Oh, there you go. And Cousin Anthony wants to know, Shane, Dollywood, is it nice?
Oh, hell yeah. Dollywood's the best theme park in the country.
I haven't been in a while. I'm going to try to get back up there.
It's great. Right now they got their Christmas stuff out.
Oh, already, huh?
Oh yeah, and they got cinnamon bread that is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
brother.
we know all about the bread, Shane. You tell us every week.
I know. But when you ever go there, there's like a couple places you can collect it. The worst place is like at the sweet shops and stuff because they've been sitting under the heater for like 4 or 5 hours. If you go up where the mill's at, that's where they're making them fresh. There's a longer line for a reason. So you get it right off the assembly line. Sit there and eat it, enjoy it.
That's bad that you know that.
No, yeah. I'm learning all this stuff, man.
I watched a video on Instagram, I think it was.
Yeah.
Have you ever stayed at one of they have resort hotels? You ever stayed up there?
No.
They'll bring the cinnamon bread to your room.
I'm sure they will, man. It's a killer. Now there's rumor. What's the one? Is it King Henry, Prince Henry? I don't know. One of the princes are supposed to be in town Sunday.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, pretty
going
big
up to
deal.
Dollywood, huh?
Yeah, I mean it's that special. Everybody wants part of it. You know?
Get him on the show.
Yeah, I'll see if I bump into him. I'll see if he can get on here. No, I think it's really cool. We got our passes, and I'm trying to walk more. And that's a place you can kind of, as long as you don't eat the bread, that you can walk around and not feel like you're walking. You know what I'm saying? Like we went there the other day. I had like 8,000 steps. It didn't feel like I had 8,000. I do 8,000 at a track or around the neighborhood. It kind of sucks, but there it's pretty cool because it's just you got something to look at.
All right, I think we're getting close. They delay. Shane, have you had Bird Dog whiskey? They're asking.
No, I have not.
Yeah, I never even heard of that.
No, but I'll take some if you want to send it. They're supposed to be sending Horns Down. I ain't got that one yet.
Yeah, that I think they reneged on us, Shane.
What?
Don't drink Horns Down.
No, not until we get our own bottle.
Okay, here we go. Top 25, I think. Colorado, what? They're still ranked. Oh, they lost, so they fell way down. They're 25.
Yeah, they're upset. What's his name? Didn't get the Thorpe Award recognition.
Kansas State, 24. They were not ranked last week.
8-3 Kansas State.
Illinois, 23. Old Burt Bielema. He's a coach up there still, I think.
Did you see him tweeting at fans? I love it. He
No.
keeps receipts. Yeah, just some random guy. It's got like 200 followers. He's just dragging his ass through the dirt.
UNLV, number 22, Shane. Coach Odom. He's going to be the next Arkansas coach, probably.
Uh-oh. That's pretty impressive without having a quarterback quit on you at the start of the season.
Mizzou, 21. How about that?
Come on now. How much they move up?
Moved up
2?
2. A&M, 20. They fell 5 spots. Good
Damn.
night.
That's
hate
discouraging.
Yeah, I'm not liking that.
That's a big drop, man.
Well, it was a big loss.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's a bad one.
BYU, number 19.
Still in there, huh?
But see, that's the thing, Shane. A&M can still get in there. They gotta win outright. They're not going to get a at large, I
Right.
don't think.
No. They got to win out. They know what they've got to do to get in.
Number 18, Iowa State. What? Well, that's where South Carolina was, so South Carolina's moving on up.
That's good. Where do you think South Carolina's at?
15 would be my guess. They were 18 last week. Tulane, number 17.
Big Green Wave. Another SEC program.
Yeah.
Look at them. We're going to claim them. We're talking playoffs. They get in.
Yep. Arizona State, 16.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. I mean, LSU beat all these teams, I think, that are non-SEC, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Vanderbilt, too, probably.
Yeah.
Number 15, South Carolina. So they moved up 3 spots.
Still not enough, Mike. Not enough. Let's play a game. Would South Carolina beat this team?
Well, they could take a big jump because we haven't seen Clemson yet. So Clemson's probably right around here. Ooh, Ole Miss, 14. Oof. That was a tough fall right there. Down 5.
Man, they're going to need a lot of chaos. Both SEC teams dropped 5 that lost,
Right.
But Bama, I still haven't seen Bama yet. They didn't drop 5?
They want Bama in here. They do.
Yeah. Ole Miss drops 5. I mean, think about that. At the Swamp.
There they are. Alabama, 13. Dropped 6.
Oh, shit. Never mind. They really fit. Yeah. But still, they're on the bubble, man. That's crazy.
They're going to be the top team out right now.
Yeah. Well, that means Clemson could fall.
Where is Clemson? They must have Clemson in the damn field.
Must be. I mean, so Clemson could fall. I think you're really rooting for USC this week. Obviously, you're pulling. If you're outside, you're pulling for Vanderbilt. There still could be some chaos here.
Number 12, Clemson.
Oof. So when South Carolina beats them,
they can jump all the way up there.
But do they? If South Carolina beats Clemson, Ole Miss wins, Bama wins, does South Carolina jump Ole Miss and Bama?
They should.
They should, but would they? Because everybody's going to be like, hey, they lost to both of these guys.
Right. Well, what you're going to need is you're going to need maybe Alabama to lose the Iron Bowl. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What about just style points? Do you think if they beat them by 2 scores or 3 scores, like it's not even close?
Yeah.
Do you think
you need anything will help at this point, I feel like.
Yeah. I don't know if they put, I bet they'd put one of them above them.
So they got Boise, number 11.
Trash. Brian Harsin.
South Carolina versus Boise on a neutral field. What's the spread? 20?
I would say 17 is what I was thinking. 11.
What are we doing? And they might be automatically in the second round.
Oh, but they have a great running back. Look at because South Carolina cannot stop the running game, right?
But at least you got to be feeling pretty good. Tennessee's safely in the field now.
Yeah,
they got to keep winning, obviously. But so Tennessee is for sure top 10.
Yeah,
they've not revealed 10 yet.
Can we get home field?
Indiana, number 10. So they dropped 5 spots.
Oh, what a joke! South Carolina beats them by 17.
Right. I think Ole Miss would too.
Just 5 spots. They didn't barely lose either. They got beat.
SMU, number 9.
They're up 4 spots. So they play Miami, right?
Yes.
Potentially.
In the ACC championship. If it's not Clemson.
They got California on Saturday. Yeah. Be nice if they lost, but I don't think they're going to. Even if they do, I don't know if you lose the ACC, does that?
There you go, Tennessee, number 8.
It's good to be up. Be good.
Ooh. But here's the deal. Technically, they're 8, right?
Yeah.
That's supposed to give you, again, home field advantage. Because we're doing this stupid thing where we let Boise be a top 4 seed, even though they're ranked 11, Tennessee's bumped from home field in the playoff. They're essentially bumped to number 9. Georgia, number 7, up 3. So Tennessee and Georgia both up 3 after pistol weapon sisters of the poor.
So Georgia will get home field, right?
Right. They'll be the last team. Oh, God. It might be Tennessee at Georgia again, James.
You know, and they have a thing. Well, that'll still be a great game. I'd love to watch it. But Georgia will be the game that seals the deal for the most home wins, consecutive home wins. So if they do get that home field advantage and they win, they break the record. That's impressive.
Miami's 6. But here's the deal, Shane. Of course, if Georgia wins the SEC championship, they'll skyrocket up. They'll be probably number 2.
But if they lose, then
they have to play at Tennessee. No,
does Georgia get in if they lose the SEC championship?
Yes, I think so.
And if that happens, does Tennessee move above them if they beat Vanderbilt?
If Georgia loses, oof, buddy, I don't know. Notre Dame, number 5. Good night.
Yeah, just crown them already. Join a league, you bastards.
They just joined the Big Ten. They'd be like, the Big Ten's where it's at. You know what?
Yeah. Would you take them if you're SEC? If they called?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just to beat them every year?
Just to beat them, just so we don't have to talk about them.
So the top 4 is unlikely. So Penn State, number 4.
Yeah.
Texas will be 3. Ohio State 1. 2. And Oregon 3.
1.
Or, I'm looking at, Oregon 1, Ohio State 2.
Yeah.
Texas remains number 3. But that means Texas right now has got the 2 seed.
Did you update the bracket?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now as they're doing it. They're about to reveal it here.
First team out, Clemson. So Clemson's not in. And second team out, Bama. Because Arizona State's in the mix.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, geez. So they don't have home field though, right? Is that what that means?
Who are you talking about?
Arizona State.
No, they play at Ohio State.
So Georgia at home.
Penn State at home.
Yeah, Notre Dame at home and Ohio State at home. For those that are listening, you've got Boise State quarterfinals, Oregon, and Miami and Texas. So you got SMU at Notre Dame, Indiana at Penn State, Tennessee at Georgia. Oh, my God. Arizona State, Ohio State.
Yeah, I told you it would be Tennessee at Georgia.
God, that sucks. That sucks.
Would you rather play at Texas?
No. I mean,
because it could be that as well.
I don't think you could really be. I'd love a home game if I were in the playoffs, obviously. But I think just the fact that you're one of the 12 teams in, I don't think you really. I mean, at that point, you should be able to play anybody wherever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So going back to Georgia may be a.
Here we got it. Let me bring it up for the folks here that maybe not able to catch all that.
When did they announce officiating? They asking for a friend.
So here's the updated bracket. Again, this is comical, Shane, how it's Boise State gets in automatically second round.
Yeah.
Because of one of the top 4 highest ranked conference champions projected. But again, there's no sweeter spot than number 5. I mean, Ohio State, where they got to play Arizona State, and then they play Boise in round 2. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, Shane. I'd rather be 5 than 1. Oregon would have to play the winner of Tennessee, Georgia. Good luck. I mean, number 2 is pretty sweet because you'd get the winner of Notre Dame, SMU. But I think I like the 5th spot better.
Yeah. 5's a sweet spot, man. Because Tennessee, Georgia, then you got to face Oregon. That's a tough pull, man. Yeah, I think Texas looks sitting pretty though.
Right.
You know, because it doesn't matter who wins SMU, Notre Dame. You know, you're moving on, and then you're probably playing Miami, I would imagine, or Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, that'd be a sweet situation for them Longhorns. So, I think they're happy.
Or Georgia, right? So, I mean, that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
You know, whoever wins that SEC championship, swap Georgia and Texas. All of a sudden, Kiffin says, "No, it wants to play SEC." Playing that SEC championship could basically be your ticket to the national championship.
Oh, that's a good point, man. That's a good point.
The number 2 seed in this scenario is pretty coveted.
Yeah.
Because I'm not afraid of any of the teams at the bottom.
No. But 10 and 7 could change.
Right.
That part's very volatile. So I don't know you can't really bank that. Right now the bracket looks great for Texas, but that may change here in 2 weeks for sure.
Right. On this one, the best 2 slots, 5 and 2. I wouldn't want to be 4 or what. Quite frankly, I don't want to be 1. I don't want to face Tennessee or Georgia. And 3's all right, I guess. But
what's your biggest surprise? I mean, just from an outside, I know you've kind of had an idea of what this is going to look like, but without the formulas and all that stuff, if somebody just presented this to common SEC Mike sitting there, what would be your reaction, like your biggest surprise about this week's playoff reveal?
Probably the biggest surprise is, you said the key thing there because I do know the formulas and all that, but the biggest surprise to me is 3-loss Alabama at 13.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand, and again, they're going to just be like, well, it's brand bias, yada, yada, yada. But they do have a ton of quality wins and ranked wins. But they just don't, I don't know. I mean, 1 week they look like they could win a national championship. 1 week it looks like they could miss a bowl game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so again, just by watching the games, I don't think Alabama's that good. But by the formula, they love Alabama. So if big if here, if there is a 3-loss team that gets in, it's going to be Alabama.
Yeah.
So if you're South Carolina, if you're Ole Miss, you got to send hookers or whatever you got to do to freeze. Get him locked in this week. Knock off Alabama's ass, because that's the best thing that could happen to South Carolina. Alabama loses the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
You beat Clemson. Boom. There's 2 spots. I think they jump. I think they jump you over Ole Miss. I really do. After Ole Miss, that's showing we just and hell, who knows? Ole Miss could lose the Egg Bowl. I mean, that's dream scenario there. But you might even need a little bit more help. We still got several weeks to go here, Shane.
Yes.
Not just this week. We got championship week too. Now it's kind of crooked that Notre Dame, they don't have to play conference championship. So you really need them to lose as well. Then you're in, essentially. So there's a lot of ifs, but then you're in. Penn State could possibly lose again. I think also if you're South Carolina, what you're rooting for is you're rooting for A&M to beat Texas. I still think Texas is safe, but I don't know. They may have some discussions. Imagine, like in your scenario, South Carolina just absolutely destroys Clemson.
Yeah.
We can sit here and say, whoa. They got a massive win over Clemson. They got a massive win over A&M, who's in the SEC. I mean, hell, A&M wins the SEC championship. That's even better. And they beat Missouri. I mean, they got all these ranked wins. It's looking better and better, I think, for South Carolina in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate question is, especially for South Carolina fans, is you need A&M, Mizzou to win out, and you're still going to need something else, man. You're still going to. I mean, I think like you said, you've got to. It can't be close, Mike. It needs to be a 35-14 game or something. It just needs to be like balls to the walls. What's his name said earlier? That's what you got to have. But then you're also looking at, from a Bama Ole Miss perspective, you don't need all that. You just need a little bit of a few hiccups in front of you, and then all of a sudden you're back in it, which is crazy, but definitely could happen. I think Georgia is the interesting one. If Georgia plays this game, let's say they play this game close with Tech, and they get to an SEC championship, and Texas or Texas A&M destroys them, or not destroys them, but beats them bad.
Yeah,
that's
10 or more.
Yeah, that's a team that could be pushed out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've seen 5-point drops, 6-point drops in this bracket after a loss. And if, let's just say hypothetically, A&M wins this weekend and plays Georgia and beats Georgia by 2 scores, Georgia may be out. Ole Miss may get in, because now you're trying to pick between Georgia and Ole Miss has got the win over Georgia.
Right. No, that's a great point.
I just tried to piece that one together. I didn't know if it was going to hit or not, but
and to your point, I mean, hell, Georgia, you took 1 week, they look like they can win the national championship. Yeah. 1 week, they seem disinterested. So who the hell knows? You know what?
Nobody knows, but we're going to get to see it. We're going to get to see it this week,
Absolutely. Hey, so tomorrow, a little unusual. We're going to do the pick'ems because we're not doing a show on Thanksgiving. But anything else? I know it's been a super long one. Anything else before we hop off the line?
No, got a wild weekend. And if you've not subscribed to YouTube, please do that. It helps us out. Steal somebody's phones. You're going to be around the holidays. When they're not paying attention, just grab that little iPhone or Android and get a little subscription in there. It helped us out tremendous. We're so close to 30,000. Appreciate everybody putting that effort in. Also, notifications on because something wild happens this weekend. This ain't going to be the last time you see it. It's just, you may just see a fatter version of me talking about how great that game was.
Right. Yeah, and tomorrow I'll be on Feinbaum. So
yeah,
they're lifting the restrictions. Probably my last time on the show, Shane. You know what?
Yeah, they're going to rub it in, all that Billy talk you gave him.
All right, buddy. So I appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see you guys. Go Vols.
Hey, buddy, this beer's for you, Mike, and Cousin Shane. That SEC podcast loves the Pirate, and the Pirate